Decades of cameras, criticism, royal expectations, two sisters, one unusual last name, and a degree of public prominence most individuals could never dream of. However, one thing has stayed remarkably constant despite all the headlines, awkward royal family moments, and public scrutiny. Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie have remained side by side because their connection is much more commonplace than many people realize, despite the designer gowns, royal balconies, and meticulously staged appearances. It is not based on customs or titles. It is based on something far more basic. Two sisters who were raised with the knowledge that they would always have someone who truly understood what it was like to live in a world where every smile might be scrutinized and every picture could make headlines the following day. Greetings from British Affairs again today. Please do us a favor before we get into this intriguing regal tale. To ensure you never miss our most recent royal updates, click the subscribe button and activate the notification bell if you love learning the backstories of the stories that make news. It only takes a moment, and it enables us to tell you more tales from the realm of the British royal family. Let's get started now. Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie are two members of the royal family who are frequently seen facing a challenging modern world. However, if you go back in time to the early 2000s, things were extremely different. They were two young princesses growing up in a world of royal customs, charity galas, formal gatherings, and media attention all the time. Imagine being a teenager and knowing that your appearance, including your hairdo, attire, and posture, could be the subject of a conversation the following day. An embarrassing snapshot vanishes into the depths of an old phone gallery for the majority of youngsters. Newspapers, magazines, and internet archives can keep it indefinitely for a teenage royal. It's similar to having your school yearbook published annually all around the world. However, you are managing royal expectations rather than worrying about a weird hairstyle. Since Beatrice was the older sister, it was only natural for her to take the lead. She was Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson's first child, born in 1988. 2 years later, in 1990, Eugenie followed. Since their early years, the sisters have frequently been shown together at family get-togethers and charitable events. However, their partnership was more than just a royal arrangement. They have talked about how close they are on numerous occasions over the years. Their 2018 interview with British Vogue was one of the most illuminating. Beatrice was her rock, according to Eugenie, who explained that they had a unique understanding of one another. And because it disclosed something that went beyond royal appearances, that comment took on greater significance. It depicted two sisters who had to deal with the peculiar strain of growing up in public. Consider it this way. Childhood memories are shared by many siblings. They recall embarrassing incidents, internal jokes, and family holidays. However, Beatrice and Eugenie had something in common that other siblings do not. They had more than just family memories, as they grew up in front of millions of strangers. They were remembered by the peoples. Photographers were waiting for them at events. They showed up to festivities when every aspect was scrutinized. Before many people their age were even choosing what to eat for breakfast, they mastered the intricate art of royal presentation. And a friendship was formed through that common experience. This is where the story starts to become intriguing, though. The sisters' paths have never been precisely the same. As the older sibling, Princess Beatrice has frequently seemed a little more at ease taking the initiative. She has progressively established her own professional persona outside of customary royal responsibilities over the years by attending a number of public events. She has established a job in the private sector, contributed to humanitarian organizations, and constructed a life that blends contemporary independence with royal ancestry. In the meantime, Princess Eugenie has pursued her own career goals, especially in the field of art. She has supported causes near and dear to her heart while working as an art professional. The intriguing part is that neither sister has merely attempted to imitate the other. While keeping the same relationship, they have chosen separate paths. It is similar to two individuals boarding different trains, but departing from the same train station. Their shared starting has always been an element of their public identity, even though they may finish up in separate areas. In recent years, royal life has undergone a significant transformation. In contrast to earlier generations, the modern monarchy is subject to intense scrutiny. Social media has revolutionized the dissemination of royal tales. In just a few minutes, one photograph can travel the entire planet. Even before the subject of the shot has returned home, a picture that was formerly published in a newspaper the next morning might today spark a global conversation. This reality has required Beatrice and Eugenie to continually strike a challenging balance between privacy and public duty. Although they are not employed royals, they are members of the royal family. Compared to senior members of the organization, they have not performed official obligations to the same extent. This establishes a special position. Although they have ties to the royal family, their work lives are comparatively quiet. And finding a middle place can be challenging, since being a royal without a full-time job is akin to receiving a permanent invitation to the family reunion and having to justify your decision not to plan it. The public, the organization, and the media all have expectations. However, the sisters have frequently shown support for one another during this time. Their ability to put on a unified front at significant family events is one example that royal observers often note. Beatrice and Eugenie frequently show up together at music, weddings, festivities, or important events. Because they have known each other for decades, their body language conveys a sense of comfort and familiarity. Public appearances, of course, only reveal a small portion of a person's existence. A grin can be captured in a picture, but not all that goes on behind the scenes can be seen. Because of this, their own statements are frequently more illuminating than conjecture from others. Eugenie did not paint a picture of a flawless fairy tale while discussing their relationship. She gave a far more accurate description. She talked about times when one sister needed help and the other took the initiative. Beatrice needed support at times. Eugenie did occasionally. And perhaps the most relatable aspect of their story is that exchange. Because the emotional basis is something that many people can relate to, regardless of the castles, rituals, and regal titles. When things are tough, a sibling will call. Someone who is familiar with your past. Someone who doesn't require a lengthy explanation to grasp the strain. It is something that neither money nor titles can produce. However, the public's interest in Beatrice and Eugenie extends beyond their romance. It also raises more general concerns about the monarchy's future. In recent years, the royal family has seen substantial upheaval. Younger generations have had to identify their duties in a contemporary society, and the number of active working royals has decreased. For Beatrice and Eugenie, this entails striking a balance between upholding tradition and forging their own personalities. They stand for a generation of royals who live in a different world than their predecessors. Ceremony is not the only thing that shapes their lives. Additionally, careers, technology, social media, and the ever-changing public expectations all influence them. They are a part of a royal experiment in many respects. Is it possible to maintain ties to the organization while simultaneously developing a distinct personal identity? Their relationship has been one of the most consistent aspects of their public narrative, even though the answer is still being written. Their relationship, which started long before either of them realized what it meant to be royal, has endured despite shifting circumstances, music, careers, and years of media attention. Because they were just sisters before they became Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie. Two kids growing up together. Two teenagers are learning how to manage their attention. Two grown-ups on their own journeys. And maybe that's why people are still interested in their narrative. Not because they are flawless or because royal life is always spectacular, but rather because there is something fundamentally human at the core of everything. The necessity for an understanding person. Someone who stands by you when the spotlight gets too much and who remembers where you came from. That person has frequently been Beatrice and Eugenie. And in a household where duty, tradition, and public expectation may sometimes dominate the debate, their sisterhood remains one of the most relatable facets of their royal